Hey, welcome to Soundscape. I'm your host, Robert Strack, and today our guest is Amy Nelson, here to play a few songs on her guitar and banjo.
If you've ever felt displaced, or like you didn't have a home or a voice, I wrote this song about that. I regard your affections, but your actions leave me bruised. I'm an educated woman, I know just when I'm being used. I've been north and I've been south, from the hilltops to the lakes. Every road on which I ran, I made my own mistakes. So yes I did, yes I did, yes I did, yes I did, yes I did. You can try to understand me, you can put me in your plans. Call me a woman of the country, I just don't know these lands. Won't believe in anything unless it's what I've seen. Well, where's the cold dark night that the world is cruel and mean? Oh, yes I am, yes I am, yes I am, yes I am, yes I am. Some people call for Jesus, some they call for song. It don't matter who you're calling for, they're still gonna call you wrong. Life is trouble and life is short and then you're in the grave. I'm bound for the glory land where women don't have to behave. Oh, yes I am, yes I am, yes I am, yes I am, yes I am. Picture me, picture you with a face turned to the road. It's a lot left for me to learn and a lot I already know. Life is not a party game or for picking fruit. It's about deciding when to talk and when you should stay mute. Oh, yes it is, yes it is, yes it is, yes it is, yes it is. You can tell me how I'm supposed to live, you can write out every rule. There are things mama can't teach you and you can't be taught in school. A man's man, that's all he is, no matter what he'll say. There's a cold dark earth for every foot and one day we all will pay. working at least now, yeah. It's just your moods I like to forget. You I could forget. Loving you is like losing a bet. You thought you could take flight like you're some kind of bird. When your knee bone's aching, who's gonna care? When your knee bone's aching, who's gonna care? Look for a good woman, she won't be there. Nobody to care. You could have had it all, but you treated her so unfair. I got them hell-on blues. I got them hell-on blues. How come you treat me like you do? Got them hell-on blues. What's a good woman to do?
Hey, Amy, thanks for coming to Soundscape
Thanks
today.
for having me. It's a pleasure.
It's so great to see you come on here and bring your songs with you.
Thank you.
So you don't have too many recordings of your songs. You do have your home recordings.
Yes. What happened was I had this weird existential thought one day after playing music that I thought, I've never had it recorded. What if something happens to me and it's never been, recorded, so then it's never been kept and then it can't be preserved, right? And so I went into my bedroom and I went, okay, I'm gonna find we had a little bit of recording stuff in there. And I went, okay, I'm gonna record these songs. Kind of just did one take sort of thing. Recorded them, listened back and was like, I can't believe I sound like this. It's really hard to hear yourself. And then I uploaded them to Bandcamp just as a way to apply for festivals and to get more shows. And CJSW ended up finding it and asking me if I could send them the recordings, and they've actually been really generous in playing the songs on air, and which is really, really cool. Yeah.
The thing about the type of music you play, which can be called folk or traditional,
Yes. Yeah.
is it's been around since before music was recorded.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
And it was sort of passed down just out of sheer will of learning through oral tradition.
Yes, through oral tradition, it was passed down. It would be like you'd be out on your porch, and then your neighbor would come over, and he'd have a fiddle, and you'd have a banjo, and it didn't matter socioeconomic status. It didn't matter religion. None of that separated you from playing music on the porch. And I think that's what really draws me to that style of music, because it isn't about being the best singer, the best banjo player, the best fiddle player. It's about the stories in the songs and the emotion behind it. And so I was always really, really drawn to that, but didn't start playing that. Well, that's the first music I ever started to play. But
how did you come to discover that traditional folk music?
I found it on the good old YouTube. I wish that I had someone that I met that passed it through oral tradition. But yeah, I can't even remember the exact way I found it. But I was just, you can go down a wormhole on YouTube finding so many videos, so much music. And I heard this Ola Belle Reed song, and she's a banjo player, a clamor banjo player, and it just floored me. I'd never heard music like that before. And then I started getting into Mississippi John Hurt and Lightnin' Hopkins and the old blues stuff. And it was like,
I had died and gone to heaven. I didn't know that was out there. I'd never had anyone say, hey, check this music out. I never knew it was there. So, you know, as much as the one thing is making traditional and folk and old time music is sometimes you encounter people that they really want to preserve the tradition, which is the oral tradition, and sharing it through, you know, if you were playing, I'd be sharing it with you, which is a beautiful thing. But sometimes you have to realize that there's also this beauty of this internet, which you can just click a button and upload something. And some people, you know, talk smack about that, but I think it's a really neat thing.
Connecting people all over.
Yeah.
And so as a folk song writer, do you ever feel intimidated or pressured to try and live up to these songs that have lived around for hundreds of years?
Yeah, sometimes you can get a feeling that you don't want to be taking something that is so treasured. It's like you go to a museum and you look at an artifact and you don't touch it, right? And sometimes folk music can be that way because it's such a historical, it's so bound for not radio and not like, there's all these things that are kind of tied to it. But the thing is, if we don't preserve it with new ways, it will die and it won't be shared and it won't continue. And so for me, I feel like I sometimes have felt nervous, like I don't necessarily play banjo a certain way, or I don't necessarily play guitar a certain way. But to me, the real meaning of that music was just you're a human being making noise that had to do with how you felt in your heart and how you feel as a person and who you are, you know? So, yeah.
Well, that's great that you brought it here to share with us today. So why don't
thank
we
you.
listen to one of your songs right now?
Sure.
Here's Amy Nelson.
All right, I'm gonna sing a song that I wrote. It's about someone who's really near and dear to me. He actually drove me here today. But I kicked him away and told him to go somewhere else. Hopefully after this we'll meet for pizza or something like that. This is a song, it's called Good Natured Man. It's about a good-natured man with a short attention span. He's a good-natured man with a short attention span. He don't listen to a single word I speak. This feeling deep inside, you know it ain't hard to describe. When he looks my way, my knees, they go weak. We could build us a home, put some books on a shelf. As long as I'm with you, I don't mind talking to myself. He's a good-natured man with a short attention span. He don't remember anything I tell him to. I ask for sky, he brings a lake. Call for beans, he brings me cake. But I wouldn't have it any other way. We could build us a home, put some grub on the table. As long as I'm with you, I am loving and I'm able. He's a good-natured man with a short attention span. He is wearing running shoes in his mind. Happiness he brings without doing a damn thing. Without him, I'd rather go blind. We could build us a home where the doggies bark. As long as I'm with you, I don't mind being in the dark. He's a good-natured man with a short attention span. I have learned to live my days by him so free. I can say just what I want, and my words will never haunt, for he's never really listening to me. We could build us a home where we rest our weary bones. As long as I'm with you, everywhere will be my home. He's a good-natured man with a short attention span. The dust has come to settle on the spine. Old age is here today as I turn to him to say I love you and I'm so glad you are mine. We could build us a grave between bramble and the dirt. As long as I'm with you, then dying shouldn't hurt. As long as I'm with you, then dying shouldn't hurt. As long as I'm with you, then dying shouldn't hurt.
That was a beautiful song. Thanks for playing that.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, one thing that's a big part of the folk tradition, and as well as your own other approaches to sharing your story, is storytelling.
Yes, yeah.
And what does storytelling mean to you?
Storytelling is, I think, for as long as humans have been, they've always, what separates them from animals is storytelling. You know, sharing, whether it's the story of your grandmother or your sister or a friend or a stranger that you saw walking across the street, or an emotion. I feel like storytelling is a really, really vital part that makes us human.
You also do a blog called Amy Flying a Kite.
Yes, yeah.
And where you share a lot of your fashion styles.
Yes,
and what I've read that you've written is that your fashion outfits are sort of telling a story.
Yeah, it's like, I find with clothing, some people can think clothing is vain, but I've always thought that it's like you're a walking canvas, you know, a blank slate. And the clothes you put on, you are, you know, the canvas's brush and the colors, and it tells a story. The second you walk into a room, what you're wearing says something about you. And so for me, the blog was just a way of expressing myself through clothing, yeah.
And I've heard that some people say that you can actually sing to your plants to help them grow. Do you do anything like that?
Oh, yes. I firmly believe that that's the truth. A lot of the songs actually that I play, when I can think back to the day that I started writing them, I was usually sitting in the tall grass near the snapdragons, just playing, you know, just for fun and watching the bees go by, and then the song comes out of that. And I think the flowers appreciate it, and then I appreciate the flowers, so it kind of goes full circle, yeah.
You do have a lot of imagery of nature in your songs, in your lyrics.
Yeah.
And you talk about being called to the mountains and to these mountain streams, and what are these things calling? What are they saying to you?
They're saying to me to slow down. I feel like when you live in the city, there's a lot of emphasis on fast pace. You know, you got Deerfoot, you've got these roads that are traveling fast and people are going to and from work. And so I feel like nature always reminds me that I'm not going to be here forever. One day, you know, my time will come. And so I think it just teaches me to just slow down and appreciate the moment.
This song's called The Mountain Song. If you're watching this, you probably live in Calgary and you know what it's like to want to get out of the city every once in a while. I wrote the song a little bit about getting out of the city, going to see that mountain view. But it's also a little bit about the fact that we're all going to die one day. A lot of times we end up mourning the loss of life. But the truth is, if we can live our lives going to the places that we want to go to and being the person that we want to be, there's no cause to mourn, and we should celebrate. I'm a-going up towards the mountain. The mountainside is where I long to be. I'm a-going up towards the mountain. Oh Lord, don't you think you're following me? Where the coyotes and the crickets, they're a-howling at, and the hare don't sleep inside a pen. I got so many memories I can't count them, but the memories of the mountain always win. The people in the city, they're a-honking. Babies are learning life is unfair. I long to be drinking mountain water and breathing in that sweet mountain air. I'm a-going up towards the mountain. The mountainside is where I long to be. I'm a-going up towards the mountain. Oh Lord, don't you think you're following me? I'm a-going swimming in deep water. I'm a-licking berries from a bough. If you ask me my route, it is the mountain. If you ask me when I'm leaving, the answer's now. Green grows the flower in the springtime. Red dance the trees in the fall. I know I will always happy be if I'm answering the mountain's call. Any day would be a good day to go. Do not weep upon my passing. Do not shed a tear from your eye. If I've been drinking mountain water, any day would be a good day to die. Oh, today would be a good day, a mighty fine day, a wonderful day to die.
Well, that was another great song, very beautiful voice, very beautiful playing.
Thank you.
You haven't been playing very long?
No, I haven't been playing very long. I learned the banjo, I can never remember the dates, and I think I always get them wrong, but about 2.5 years ago, I bought my first banjo and didn't really play it too much at first because I didn't know what to do with it, but just knew that I was in love with this thing and, you know, polish it and stare at it and want to know how to play it. And then I started learning banjo, clawhammer banjo, and then I quickly, the beauty about banjo is because of the songs primarily being old folk songs, you can find them. You can find the tabs for that, or you can find them on a recording and learn by ear. And so I feel like with the banjo, it gave me this like real kick of, okay, this is music, this is what music is. And so I took my time learning that, and then just started getting shows here and there and realized like I didn't want to just play the banjo. I didn't want to just be known as a banjo player because a lot of my favorite music is guitar playing too, right? And the one thing about the banjo is I love everything about it, but the tricky thing with it is it's not so easy to sing with. You have to sing a little more shrill and a little more nasally, and so it works for certain songs, but it's not as much of a blank canvas as say the guitar. The guitar is just so much easier to find melodies and to come up with, you know, your own kind of style of playing, whereas the banjo is a little more strict.
Well, when you call it clamour banjo, that's a type of strumming?
Yeah, clawhammer banjo, yeah.
Clawhammer, okay.
Clawhammer, frailing. Some people argue there's little differences here and there, but yeah, it's a completely different style of banjo. Tends to not be bluegrass. It's a really archaic and old style of banjo that is actually African. And so it was primarily played by black banjo players at first, and then the community aspect of it brought everyone together. And yeah, the technique of it, you kind of form a claw and you strike with either your index finger or your middle finger. And so you're never having an upstroke. You're always, that's how I play anyway. So you're always going down and then you're hitting the fifth string with your thumb. So it is a technique. Yeah. It's really, really neat. Learning it is a lot of fun.
But I mean, on top of playing music, your words that you put together are very beautiful, and they seem to have a very strong meaning to them. And so, like specifically, your Educated Woman song.
Right, yeah.
It feels like it's a call to arms and for women to recognize, you know, that they're equality and powerful.
Yes, yeah. When I actually, a lot of the song inspiration I get, like I was saying earlier, right in the garden, and I was going to say it's a shame that sometimes when I'm sitting there and I'm looking at the bees and all this beauty, I end up thinking angry thoughts too. I think nature kind of pulls that out in you. It makes you feel really human. And to be human is to feel sad, you know, to feel mournful, to feel happy, to feel glee, you know, to be ups and downs. That's just part of life. And so I feel like I'm just not natural at writing happy songs. It just doesn't come to me. I've sat down and tried, but I feel like it's my way of escaping, because my day-to-day life, I can be happy and down like the average person, but through music, I feel like it helps you to channel that anger or bitterness or sadness that is just, like I said, being part of being alive, right? And the Educated Woman song, I remember sitting on the edge of my bed and feeling really mad at something I saw on the news, or, you know, just angry, and I think I had a fight with somebody, and it was just like all these negative emotions. But what really was bothering me was the fact that I felt like that fight wouldn't have happened if I had been a man. It came from being a woman and feeling like I was being mistreated. And so I just sat at the edge of the bed, and the song just came out of me. It was like one of the only songs where I didn't even have to give it much thought. It just, the words kind of rolled out. And every time I sing that song, sometimes I have to try not to cry, because I think of, you know, every single woman in history or women out there now who have at any time in their lives felt like they weren't listened to for just the stupid, simple fact that they're a woman. You know, that shouldn't be why you listen or not to somebody. So to me, I feel like that song's kind of an anthem for all women. Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for writing it and taking the stage and putting yourself out there.
Thank you for having me.
And let's listen to another song.
Sure.
And thanks so much for coming on
Thank
Soundscape.
you. This is awesome. Thank you so much.
Going where they won't see me, down where the river bank. Going where they won't see me, in my own heaven, in my own heaven. Cities found on hard time, troubles all around. Cities found on hard time, trouble all around, trouble all around. Take my line and away I run, down with my fishing pole. Take my line and away I run, scared 'em out of that swimming hole, scared 'em out of that swimming hole. Going where they won't see me, down where the river bank. Going where they won't see me, trouble's gonna meet their end, trouble's gonna meet their end. Baby got me a shiny ring, bought it from the store. Baby got me a shiny ring, now I don't know what for, now I don't know what for. Then he got mad and he spooked me, filling my head with doubt. Then he got mad and he spooked me, but the rain's gonna end this drought, the rain's gonna end this drought. Going where they won't see me, down where the river's wide. Going where they won't see me, and I ain't gonna be your bride, I ain't gonna be your bride. I ain't gonna fry you bacon, I ain't gonna bring you down. I ain't gonna fry you bacon, I'm happy as I am, happy as I am. I ain't gonna be gritting my teeth, I ain't gonna string you pearls. I ain't gonna be gritting my teeth while you're running off that another girl, you're running off that another girl. Going where they won't see me, down where the river's long. Going where they won't see me, singing my sorrow song, singing my sorrow song.